Guys, Esports Money's ESM Mag10, whatever you want to call me. It is 5:30 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time on October the 5th, 2014. Today we're going to be going over how to jungle Bloodseeker in 6.82b, which is something that it's the current patch right now. I'm going to go ahead and start the game. Before I really get started, I've done this with some other heroes. I've said sort of a similar preface or a similar disclaimer to a lot of heroes, and that's this is not something that I personally do in my pub games unless I'm like messing around on a Smurf account. My Smurf is approximately 2,500 MMR. My main account is 4,700. I would not do this in a game around 3,500 MMR or higher. With the new changes to Bloodseeker, he's actually a much more efficient jungler than he was in the past, but he's still nowhere as efficient as a jungler as Doom, Lycan, Enigma, Enchantress, Chen. All of these heroes jungle exponentially faster than Bloodseeker does. However, in lower level MMR games, he can still jungle very effectively. However, he always does better in lane, I think. He always will get more experience, and he'll usually get more money if you're okay at last hitting. That being said, you can jungle the hero. The way that I jungle him, I typically have Quelling Blade, Poor Man's Shield, Power Treads, and Chainmail, the 550 gold item, the +5 armor one, which builds into Blade Mail later on. I usually have all of those items by around 8 minutes. I can get by around 7 if I have a really good jungle on the Dire side, and if I have a really bad jungle on the Radiant side, it could be up to 9 minutes. However, as soon as you get the Power Treads, you should be leaving your jungle. So skill build for this is you're going to max your Q first, of course. At level 2, you're going to get Blood Right just to have a nuke to hurt the creeps you're fighting. At level 4, you're going to get 1 level of your passive Thirst to help out your allies. So it's important that you get level 4 as fast as possible, which again is not very easy considering this hero is not an ideal jungler in general. But he is faster now, and let's get down to business. Another big problem that this video will have compared to a real game is that I don't have a courier. If I had a courier, this would be a lot easier. This is a pretty decent camp. I actually haven't tried killing this camp before as Bloodseeker. I'm not going to now because it's kind of hard for him to kill level 1. However, this is a great camp. And I don't even think I'll have to use a tango here, maybe just one. This is going to be close. No. And I'll just attack the other sider until my passive is ready, because it's really important that I don't mess up and kill the unit without lifesteal on. Like that. I think I just messed it up. After level 2, it's not an issue anymore, but at level 1, it's a big problem. I'm sorry, level 3. Because at level 2, your duration is 10 and your cooldown is 10, so it can kind of always be on. And at level 3 and above, you have an 11-second cooldown and an 8-second or an 11-second duration with an 8-second cooldown. So it gets exponentially better. I think I can kill that Wildling camp yet, but just to be conservative, I'm going to keep going over here. Runes like this, if your mid's not using it, or you want to deny it from the enemy, it's totally fine for you to go grab that. A little bit of extra farm, or whatnot for you. I am getting pretty decent camps here. I am going to go ahead and try to kite this away so I can stack. Yep. That's just a free chunk of money. Ah, good old-fashioned centaurs. If you know me, you know I hate centaurs. It's probably safer to go for the little one just based on the nature of the way how Bloodseeker works. Not too worried about it. Another thing that you can do is, and this is much more efficient, I should have been doing this all along, is you can actually choke point jungle a bit with Bloodseeker, and he's much more efficient this way. It's not working exactly right there, and you can see I messed up pretty big because I didn't use my lifesteal before I killed him, which is kind of a huge blunder. But I can kind of make that up by wiping these guys. Again, you might not be able to do this because in general, people in your bottom lane are going to want to use this camp to pull. But if your MMR is low enough that jungling Bloodseeker is a good idea, then they're probably not pulling anyway. I'm going to go ahead and pause so I can find what I want. Blade Mail. I'm just going to buy this Chainmail, and then I'm going to work toward treads. You actually have the option here of getting your brown boots first or going for the chainmail. I like to go for the chainmail because you can see if you make any mistakes, this jungling build gets kind of sketchy. Like, it's really easy to get killed because this Q actually increases the damage you take in addition to the damage you deal. But once you have the Poor Man's Shield, which gives you an extra point of armor compared to the Stout Shield, and a little more damage because you have 6 more agility, and you have the extra 5 armor from the Chainmail, it makes your jungling faster. You can see I'm pretty close to it. Normally I would have the Chainmail and the Poor Man's Shield on me by about 4 minutes, which makes my jungle really, really stable after that point. However, this guide's a little bit more difficult because I don't have a courier, so it's not going to be as effective as it normally is. And we have ogres. By level 3, I don't really care about choke point jungling with most camps. With that Wild Wing camp, I'll probably still try to create a choke with my Quelling Blade.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Hey, you guys doing great work. Forget about it.
Remember, level 4, you want to get 1 point of the thirst. Really, you can get 1 point of thirst at level 2, but I really just like using spamming blood right on neutrals. Makes things a little bit easier. I might just... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and try to kill the little ones, and then move on to the big one, just because I'm going to need the heals. Maybe I'll die here, but if I might have to like try to suicide, just for the purpose of this guide, because I don't have the courier. I think I will, actually. I'm gonna have no mind. We're Gucci. Should have ran back a little bit so I'd have enough money to buy a GP to go back, but it's whatever. This actually sets me back by probably around between 35 and 50 seconds, because I had to take the time to respawn, which was pretty short, was like between 10 and 14 seconds, and now I have to walk back without boots. So having a courier makes this jungle a lot faster. Like, with junglers like Lycan that are so sustainable and have everything timed out so well, you really don't need the courier, but with Bloodseeker it really helps to have a courier. I'm gonna go ahead and nuke this hard. And make sure that you kill these little skeleton dudes first, because they actually, like, this guy does 24 damage, despite only having, like, 240 health. So, make sure that you always kill the little skeletons first if you summon them. Again, you can probably kill these trolls by, like, level 3, or whenever you get both of those items. Again, the way I play this hero, I prefer to get the blade mail after I get my treads, and get that first piece of chainmail beforehand, just because it helps you so much in the jungle. However, if you're feeling brave, you can either buy your Gloves of Haste or, not your Belt of Ogre Strength, but little known fact, but if you're jungling Bloodseeker, you might be kind of new to the game, so you might not know this, but you can actually build power treads from the Belt of Strength, the Band of Elven Skin, or the Robe of the Magi. It's why it's toggleable. It's an old mechanic from Warcraft 3. But you could get the Band of Elven Skin, or your Belt of Strength, or your Gloves of Haste. I don't really see why you'd build from the Robe of the Magi on Bloodseeker. But you could get either of those items if you weren't feeling quite brave enough just to, or if you're feeling brave enough to do that. Because normally I feel like it's better to go with a conservative play with a hero like Bloodseeker, who's kind of gambling in the jungle as to begin with. Go ahead and buy my gloves. Again, it's nice to just have that chainmail and your Poor Man's Shield, because you're going to want a little more tank ability just because of the nature of Blood Rage. Blood Rage is a pretty cool spell. It's really, really strong, but it does make you a lot more of a glass cannon-y type of hero, which is weird that you're a melee glass cannon, but that's how it works. Again, this would be a lot faster with boots. Bloodseeker's base movement speed is really bad. Like, really bad. Ooh, yeah. Kill things. You always get your... With this build, I generally will max... I don't know, I always max Blood Rage by 7. And then depending on what I feel like, I'll either max Thirst or Blood Right. I would say... I don't know. If you feel like... If you're the greedy kind of person that feels like you should be the one balling out of control all game and you don't really care too much about your team, I think the Thirst is actually better because it gives you more damage and movement speed. But if you feel like you're going to be team fighting a lot, then the Silence on Blood Right is absolutely sick. It's really good. You can see it's like almost 8 minutes and I don't even have my treads completed yet. But I did have that one suicide, and I had to walk back with no boots, and I didn't have the ability to TP back because I didn't have enough gold when I died. Another thing is, once you have that level 2 point in your or once you get the level 4 point in your Thirst passive, you can kind of look around for kills, especially if you go for kind of a greedy build and get your brown boots before you get, or instead of your chainmail. If you feel really greedy and you feel really comfortable with the way your jungle's been going, you can actually skip the chainmail until later when you're building your blade mail, and just rush your treads. Because if you rush treads instead, you'll be out of the jungle about a minute faster, and thus ready to fight a minute faster. But a +5 armor is pretty huge on a hero like Bloodseeker that's that squishy that early in the game. Because your health pool's kind of okay as it is. Your health is not terrible. It's not great, though. And this is going to be about 9 minutes. So it's pretty bad. Yep. So we're at like 8:55. It's really about like 8:51, 8:52. We have our chainmail, our poor man's shield, quelling blade, and power treads. It's not great. As you can see, I'm just about to hit level 7. So it's, I guess if you're not great at last hitting, it's kind of equivalent to what you'll get in lane. It's not terrible, but again, it's not ideal. If your MMR is like around 3,500 or higher, I'd probably say that you shouldn't do this. Whereas before, I would say if your MMR was 3k or higher, I would say don't jungle Bloodseeker. But he is a little bit more jungly now. He's a little bit better at jungling now. If you're really confident in it, you can do it at any point in time. But it's a matter of, you need to figure out when you need to choke point jungle, so like when you need to cut a hole in a tree to try to just fight them one at a time. Because how much damage that you're taking at once is now a big deal, because you put out lots of damage, which is why you're able to jungle better, but you also take a lot more damage, which is why you're kind of gambling in the jungle. But anyway, that's how I build him. So as far as items go later on, I will finish my blade mail, because I think blade mail is just really good on the hero. Or if I get a few kills early on, and I'm not really afraid of the enemy team, I'll finish my blade mail a little bit later and rush a Sanj and Yasha. If I think I can get a Sanj and Yasha by like around 15 minutes, then I'll get that and then get blade mail after that. I see Bloodseeker as sort of one of the ideal like core semi-carries. He's really big on stacking items like drums, maybe a Vlad's, but drums, blade mail, treads, Sanj and Yasha. These items that are like, they aren't super like they're like N-tier items, but they aren't like tier 4 items. They aren't like the big items that you want to have. And he's really good at stacking those items up and fighting a lot in the mid-game. He's really a hero that, if he can get farm, after you leave the jungle by around 7-8 minutes and start fighting, farming lanes, fighting, pushing towers, that sort of thing, if you can get really farmed by about 15 to 20 minutes, then from about 20 to 40 minutes, if Bloodseeker has a good start, 20 to 40 minutes is usually when the hero is really scary. After 40 minutes, Bloodseeker kind of falls off and is kind of useless unless his whole deal has been really insane. If for whatever reason you have more money than you have any idea what to do with, you can buy yourself a Radiance. I personally almost never buy Radiance on Bloodseeker unless I'm just trolling on a Smurf account and I'm balling out of control. But Radiance is sort of the ultimate, like, give a middle finger because I'm winning so hard at him. And it will actually keep you far ahead because while your Q is active, if anything dies from the Radiance, whether it's creeps or enemy heroes, you'll actually get healed a lot. So it gives you a lot more sustain in team fights, especially in the early game. Also makes you really terrifying because you can just sort of run after people, and even when you're not right-clicking, they're taking lots of damage. So anyway, thank you for watching this. You can find me on YouTube, where you're seeing me now, at youtube.com/MattCowanii, MattCowanii. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/MacX10. You can find me on Twitter at eSportsMonies. If you like this video, please subscribe. Peace, guys. Have fun juggling.